Hello students, I am Chumpi ma'am. So I am teaching you zoology part, right? So today we are going to have a very quick revision on the animal physiology part. That is our first chapter of the animal physiology, that is digestion and absorption. Okay, so it is digestion and absorption. It's a very important chapter of animal physiology, and it's the first chapter of animal physiology where you will learn about the entire digestion process and the absorption process. Ami jibila khana khao, he khana khini keneke amar body breakdown hobo aru keneke amar body e absorb koribo, right? So etia moi tumalok yata eta quick idea dim. I'll give you idea so that you will be able to revise it very fast. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so now see, first of all, tumalke meaning to already janai. You know the meaning of digestion. Okay, digestion means what? Breakdown of food into simplest form. So ami jibilak food khao he bilakok jetia simplest form ole ami convert korim, he gute process tuk ami ki boli kau digestion boli kau, right? We call it as digestion, where we break down the complex food into the simplest form. Now for the digestion process we have a digestive system, right? In our body, in human body, we have a digestive system. And when we say digestive system, human digestive system is comprises of basically the digestive tract. Amar ki thakibo eta digestive tract, or we can call it as alimentary canal. Ami etu ki boli kom, alimentary canal boli kom. And also will have some accessory digestive gland. Amar kisuman ki thakibo, helping gland thakibo, jikhinik ami accessory digestive gland kau. Tar bhitor amar accessory digestive gland ro bhitor ki thakibo, that is salivary gland, liver, pancreas, gallbladder, etc. right? So a gute khini alimentary canal, salivary gland, liver, pancreas, gallbladder gute khini mili ki koriba amar digestion process to complete koribo. Etia first come to the alimentary canal. So now our alimentary canal or our digestive tract has some part. First part is called as what? Buccal cavity. First part is called as what? Buccal cavity. Ami mouth buliu kau. And if we talk about the buccal cavity, then in the buccal cavity we have certain part, that is we have teeth, right? And with the help of teeth we can break down the food mechanically, right? We can break down the food mechanically. Amar mechanical breakdown hobo. Then we have tongue, right? And what tongue do? It will help in speaking. To digestion or part no hoy, but still. Then it will help in mixing food with saliva. Okay? And then to get the taste of food. Ar logote ki koribo amar foodor jitu taste jitu nohole ami khaboi noaru hetu amak diat help koribo, right? Then we have palate, and palate is known as roof of buccal cavity, right? Roof of buccal cavity. Okay, aru ei palate nohole ami ki koribo noarim, food khini properly tangor hohayat ami mix koribo noarim. So these are the major part we have in the buccal cavity. And buccal cavity itself it receive the secretion of saliva. Buccal cavity ki pai saliva receive kore from where? From the salivary gland. So buccal cavity aru eta bostu mixed hoy. This is the accessory digestive gland, already moi tobalko koisu. So ultimately salivary gland or secretion khini kot mixed hobo buccal cavity mixed hobo, right? Aru logote yate tumalke janibo lagibo there are 3 salivary glands, 3 pairs of salivary glands we have in our body. Okay, tinita salivary gland thake. What are that? Number 1, parotid gland, right? Number 2, submaxillary gland, and number 3, sublingual, right? Sublingual. So these are the 3 pairs of salivary gland we have in our body, which is acting as accessory digestive gland. So they release the saliva, and saliva ultimately is drained to the buccal cavity. So saliva is drained to the buccal cavity. Now if we want to know about saliva, then our saliva contain water. Yate ki thakibo? Water thakibo, ions, basically chloride, sodium, bicarbonate, etc. aru thake, but these are the major. Okay, then it also have mucus, karon amar food khini ki koribo lagibo, slippery koribo lagibo, and enzymes, that is salivary amylase and lysozyme. Salivary amylase and lysozyme. Now this salivary amylase, what it do? What salivary amylase will do? Salivary amylase will convert salivary amylase will convert starch into maltose. Aru monot rakhiba, ami jiman starch khao tar bhitorot 30% amar saliva ki hole convert koribo pare, maltose hole convert koribo pare. And lysozyme, it is not a digestive enzyme, digestion not help nokore. Lysozyme ki koribo? It kills bacteria, so that amar foodot jodi kiba disease causing bacteria ase hekhini ami naikia koribo paru, right? So it can kill the bacteria. Fine. So then this is about the different parts present in the buccal cavity, as well as the saliva, which is secretion of the salivary gland, and how it helps. So salivary gland ki koribo? Amak saliva secrete korat help koribo, and ultimately saliva helps in the digestion of starch. Okay, etia logote eta bostu tumalke khub bhaldore janibo lagibo, eta important eta bostu ase, that is about the teeth, types of teeth. Jeto already ma koisue je amar buccal cavity ki thake? Teeth thake. So now when we talk about the types of teeth, basically in human teeth can be called with different term. Okay, that is number 1, our teeth are called as heterodont teeth. Khub important exam or karne, heterodont teeth. Why hetero? Hetero means many. So because it has 4 types of teeth present. Okay, total amar kiman 4 types of teeth thake? 4 types. And what are that? Incisor, canine, premolar, and molar. Okay, ekhini thake 4 types. Then our teeth are also called as diphodont. Why? Because it grows twice in the life. Dubar grow kore, he karone ami ki ko? Diphodont. Ebar ki hobo? Milk teeth. Ebar hobo permanent teeth, right? Ebar ki hobo? Permanent teeth. So jihetu dubar grow kore, he karone ami etu ki boli ko? Diphodont. Aru logote human teeth ki boli koi janane? That is called as thecodont. It is also called as thecodont because it is deeply embedded in the jawbone. Jawbonot jihetu deeply humai thake, he karone ami etu ki boli ko? Thecodont boliu ko, right? Yate eta important point mention kori moi goisu jitu exam or karone important. Remember, premolar is absent in milk teeth. premolar is absent in milk teeth. So it important point all. So premolar to ki hoy milk teeth na thake. Milk teeth amar incisor, canine or molars se thakibo, premolar kintu na thake. So premolar grows once. Okay, very very important. So this is about the human teeth. Now next come to the other part of our alimentary canal. So now see, when we take the food, we'll chew the food, will go for a mechanical digestion, then with the help of saliva it will go for a chemical digestion also, and then after that we'll swallow, and after swallowing the food will directly go to the stomach, because esophagus, our next part of the alimentary canal is what? Esophagus. And regarding esophagus, you have to know, it just allow the food to go down, but no digestion takes place. No digestion takes place in esophagus. Okay, no digestion takes place in esophagus because it is devoid of any digestive gland. After that, we'll come to the other part, that is stomach, right? And if I'll just give you a recap of the stomach, then tumalke stomach or important point khini mon rakhibo lagibo, that it has gastric gland. The wall of the stomach has what gland? Gastric gland. Gastric gland thake. And this gastric gland is comprises of different types of cells. Okay, it is comprises of different types of cells. What are that? Number 1, peptic cell. Number 2, oxyntic cell. Number 3, goblet cell. And number 4, Argentafin cell. Okay, if sarita cell thake, and the cells will secrete different secretion which will help in the digestion process. That is peptic cell, it will secrete some pro enzyme, that is pepsinogen, prorenin. Okay, both are in inactive form. Then oxyntic cell, it secretes hydrochloric acid and one factor, that is Castle intrinsic factor. Castle intrinsic factor. Then goblet cell, it secretes mucus, and Argentafin cell, it is a hormone secreting cell which secrete hormone gastrin. Okay, etia soa jihetu stomachot pro hormone secrete hoy, pepsinogen and prorenin, these are pro hormones. So this hormone needs to be activated, and how it get activated, you see, that is pepsinogen will be converted to the active form pepsin in presence of hydrochloric acid. Okay, in presence of hydrochloric acid secreted from the oxyntic cell, pepsinogen will be converted to what? Pepsin, and then pepsin will act on protein, and the proteins will be converted to peptones. Okay, so this is the function of pepsinogen. Similarly, prorenin, this is an inactive hormone. So prorenin will be converted to renin in presence of hydrochloric acid, and then renin will act on milk protein, and it will be converted to another form that is called as paracasein. Okay, but remember, this is highly abundantly available in small cell child. Small children or khetrot hetu besi effective hoy, because amar adult or khetrot prorenin or secretion basically no hoy, right? So but yate eta bostu clear ho goise je tumaloke hydrochloric acid or function. So hydrochloric acid ki kore? Inactive enzyme khinik active form le convert kore. Logote this hydrochloric acid also maintain the pH of stomach. Stomach or ki kore? pH 2 maintain kore. Thik ase? So আৰু এটা important function আছে, that is kills microbes. যিহেতু এটা strong acid হয়, তো একাৰণে stomachত যদি কিবা microbes থাকে, microbes খিনিকো kill কৰিব পাৰে। আৰু লগতে আৰু এটা বস্তু তোমালোকে পাইছা, Castle intrinsic factor. Okay, now this Castle intrinsic factor is a factor which helps in absorption of vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 যে আমি খাও বিভিন্ন খোৱা বস্তুৰ লগত হেখিনিক absorb কৰিবলৈ কোনে help কৰিব? Castle intrinsic factor. That means Castle intrinsic factor is very important for the person who are having anemia. আমাৰ blood formation ৰ কাৰণে Castle intrinsic factor বহুত important because B12 নহলে আমাৰ RBC বিলাক mature নহয়, right? Then next come to the mucus, and mucus perform a very important role in our stomach, as our stomach is having HCl, very strong acid. He karone ki hobo lagibo stomachor jitu bhitor tu hetu ki hobo lagibo eta mucusor layer di cover hoi thakibo lagibo, right? Nohole tumalokor ki hobo janane gastric ulcer. The person will have gastric ulcer. He karone mucus thokar karone hydrochloric acid amar stomachor wall tu ki koribo noare, harm koribo noare. So mucus, it protects the stomach wall from HCl. So HCl or pra stomach or wall ki kore protect kore, right? So ekhini hoise amar stomach or kam. Next whole small intestine. Number 4 is small intestine. Okay, small intestine. Small intestine or ma tinta part ase. That is duodenum, then jejunum and ileum. ইয়াৰ ভিতৰত duodenumত কি হ'ব? Digestion, complete digestion of food. Then jejunumৰ function ইমান বিশেষ নাই আৰু ileumত কি হ'ব? Absorption. Ileumত কি হ'ব? Absorption of food. Okay? So duodenum, it helps in digestion, and ileum, it helps in the absorption of food. Now when we talk about the digestion of food, the complete digestion of food will be going on in the duodenum itself. Okay, now but duodenum e okole ki korbo noare, digestion process to complete korbo noare. So now our duodenum, this is your duodenum. Okay, now duodenum needs to receive the secretion from liver, as well as it needs to receive the secretion from pancreas. Pancreas আৰু liverৰ পৰা কি লাগিব? ইয়াক secretion খিনি লাগিব, তেতিয়া আমি কি কৰিব পাৰিম? Complete digestion process to koribo parim. So that means you need to have an idea about the liver and pancreas also, right? Liver and pancreas or bishoyo tumalok idea lagibo. Etia first let me tell you about the liver. So now see, liver is the largest organ we have in our body. Okay, if I'll tell you about the liver, then liver is the largest organ we have in our body, and for digestion the important function of liver is that it secretes bile. Okay, it secretes bile which has two parts, that is bile salt and bile pigment. Yar bhitor bile salt is important for the digestion process. Bile pigment is not. Bile pigment we release with our fecal matter. Our bile salt ki kore? It helps in emulsification of fats, right? So now then what you got, that liver for digestion, liver main function to hoise what? Emulsification of fat, that is bile secretion, and with the help of bile we'll be able to digest fat. Okay, but logote tumalke eta bostu janibo lagibo soa yate. If I'll show you, let this is your liver. This is your liver. Okay, now from the liver a duct will come. Okay, and then here nearby there is a small organ present, this is called as gallbladder. Okay, and then this duct will come. Let here you have the duodenum, and Then this duct will be continued with an organ that is called as pancreas. So this is your liver, this is your liver, this is your pancreas. Okay, now liver will secrete its secretion through a duct that is called as bile duct. Okay, then the secretion will enter to the gallbladder. Okay, and gallbladder will release it to a duct, and this duct is called as cystic duct. Through cystic duct, gallbladder will release its secretion again, and then it will come up to the pancreas through a duct that is called as common bile duct. We called it as what? Common bile duct. Okay, now this common bile duct will be connected with the duct of the pancreas. Okay, now this pancreatic duct will receive the secretion of pancreas, and this is called as pancreatic duct. And after a certain period of time, this pancreatic duct will meet the common bile duct, and it will become a common duct which will drain its secretion to the duodenum, and this common part is called as hepato pancreatic duct. Okay, now then what you got, that hepatopancreatic duct will drain the secretion to the duodenum. So amar duodenumot ki hobo, gute secretion khini ahibo, and in presence of that duodenum will be able to digest. Tar bhitor eta tumalke already pala, liver ki secrete korbo bile. So in presence of bile salt, the fats will be emulsified. Similarly, our pancreas also secretes its secretion, and interestingly, pancreas is known as a heterocrine gland. Very important for the exam, heterocrine gland. Etu question ahe, why pancreas is known as heterocrine gland? Because the pancreas has two parts, that is endocrine part, yare eta endocrine part thake, mane hormone secreting part thake, and then exocrine part. Eta exocrine part thake, right? And endocrine part is known as islet of Langerhans, and the exocrine part is known as acini. Endocrine part is known as islet of Langerhans, and exocrine part is called as acini. Aru islet of Langerhans ot ki thake, khub important again, hormonal karone important, digestional karone important. 3 cells, alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells. And acini, it secrete the pancreatic enzyme. Alpha cell ki kore, glucagon namor eta hormone secrete kore. Beta cell insulin secrete kore, aru delta cell somatostatin. Okay, and acini, it secrete pancreatic enzymes, that is amylase, lipase, trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, and carboxypeptidase, plus nuclease also. So these are the enzymes which are secreted from the pancreas. Okay, so now in presence of all this, ultimately duodenum will completely digest the food, so that all the food particle will be converted to the simplest form, and our body will be able to absorb. So etia jodi tumalke digestion part to khub bhaldore sabo bisara, khub bhaldore poribo bisara, then follow my lectures in the app. Okay, then you will be able to learn the chapters properly. Okay, so just here I am giving you some hints that what are the different parts we have in a digestive system. So tumaloke jodi bhaldore porha, then you will be able to learn this chapter very nicely, because it's a very important chapter and it's a very interesting chapter. So now then, okay, so you please follow my lectures so that you will learn it properly. Okay.